I got some shit to talk about, and once you put your hands on somebody, all of that goes out the window. Like, none of that matters anymore. Hey friend, I'm Kyla Myette. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. Please come have a seat, take your shoes off at the door. I got snacks, I got whatever you need to come and enjoy this video, okay? Grab you a blanket or something to drink, because I got some shit to talk about, and I need to talk about this because this is mainly in my head, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this, and if you do, please comment below. Before I get into it, let's just get this out the way. Please check out my Etsy shop. Go check out all my social medias if you want to follow me there for like other videos or so. Please do so. If not, it's cool. We still cool. I need to do this first. I definitely need to, I would say it's not sage, it's Palo Santo. So I'm about to just cleanse you with this Palo Santo. I'm going to cleanse myself, my throat chakra, definitely my heart chakra, my root chakra, all of the chakras right now, because I'm so fed up. I'm so tired. I wanted to talk about people in terms of like manipulation and trauma and abusive like behaviors. What prompted me to even get started is that, one, like seeing other people talk about whether their life or certain situations has pushed me a little bit today to get on this camera and talk about this and just do a video. Like I said on my channel, not only do I want to give a space to myself, but I want to give a space to you all to share and to feel seen and heard and feel understood. I want to talk about how people will literally abuse you or do stuff to you. They will literally manipulate you and still try to find reasons and why it's your fault. Because you put your hands on me, or because you decided to not be a good person, it's my fault that you decided to take those actions. And I noticed that in my personal life, a lot of the men in my life have been the ones to do this. But I have also seen women do this. I have also seen people do this to each other, whether they're dating, family members, it doesn't matter. In my personal life, I have seen a lot of men do this, and not all the men in my life, because I don't want to hear none of that shit in my comments. And when you are raised to basically like keep things to yourselves, keep certain pains or certain stories to yourself, and when you have generational trauma, I'm sure everybody can relate to that, and especially Black people, where generationally there's something about just like keeping it in the house, keeping it in the family, not letting everybody know your business, and I get it, because not everybody's supposed to be in your business. And even me like doing this video is counteracting that whole idea that they try to instill in all of us as a generation. Now when you finally have the courage to speak up and speak out, not only like in general, but to the direct person that hurt you, and not only do they not take the accountability for what they did, but then they try to justify and why they did it to you, that literally pisses me off. Especially when you did absolutely nothing wrong in the situation. You did the best that you could in that situation with what you knew and what you had at the time, and they still will find a way to blame you. Every situation is different. There are some things where it's like, yes, every action has a reaction, of course, but literally abusing somebody and lying your way into somebody's life, or manipulating your entire personality, persona, or just like being a habitual liar in order to gain someone's trust or gain some access to someone, there at that point, like, what wrong could that other person do? Especially in romantic relationships, it's understandable that there's two people in this situation, so therefore there's two sides to the story. But you have to look at the facts for what it is. Of course you never want to be in a situation where you're trying to one-up the other person and be like, oh well, I did this because you did that, and what you did to me was worse than what I did to you. Like, because what if I did do something, what I did still had the same result, like you were still either angry or upset or whatever the case may be. You still felt your emotions, and that's valid. But you feeling your emotions and you taking the actions that you've done do not cooperate with each other. If I'm angry with someone, if I am mad at someone, or even if I am sad about a situation, it is not okay for me to take an action that not only may put myself in harm's way, but the other person in harm's way, whether that is physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so on and so forth. And when you are the person on the receiving end of whether it's lies, abuse, manipulation, gaslighting, if it's cheating, and when I say receiving end, I mean the person being hurt of that situation, and you are finally speaking up loud about it, and you notice how the person who did it is angry with you or trying to justify what they did to you, it basically proves that it's eating them on the inside. I definitely know I have a pride thing when it comes to admitting to pain or admitting to being hurt. I've had this lie that I have told myself, that nobody cares about how I'm feeling, or nobody understands me, or even if they could understand me, they didn't even want to. Like it's the lie of like having to shove the pain to the back of your mind, or shove the trauma away and push it down so that the other person doesn't know that you're hurt. And I can't really pinpoint where I picked that up from. I know that it comes from experience, right? Where I have lived a certain amount of years in my life and how situations played out, and that's where these stories or these lies that I tell myself came from. And there are some truths to it, because our egos, our brains are wired to protect ourselves. We're still engineered to protect ourselves from danger and to make sure that we survive, right? I'm in a space in my life where me not saying anything about what the person has done to me is not doing me any good. It's not helping. It doesn't help me, because now I'm the one eating this pain that I didn't even give to myself. I'm the one that has to constantly relive this situation or situations over and over, whereas you see the other person try to act like either it never happened, or even if they do acknowledge that it happened, they still find, again, ways to justify it based off of what you did or what you said or whatever the case may be. Once they realize like their words too doesn't affect you anymore, then they start to pull out other tactics and strings. I'm not in the business of exposing people in whatever the case may be, because at the end of the day, they're going to do that to themselves, and every time they prove me right that they're going to do it to themselves. People can only fake for so long. Me not sharing my story or my pain and my trauma has not done anything good for me, because once I speak it out loud, especially to that person, not only does it free me from guilt or shame from something that wasn't even my fault, it also puts them in the limelight of themselves in their own life and figure out what lies they're telling themselves. I have gotten into an argument today about a particular person that has done me dirty or has treated me wrong. Having to not only acknowledge it for myself, but also speaking it out loud to that person, and then have them give whether a half apology, but also try to blame you for why they put their hands on you or for why they did certain things. It just doesn't add up to me. A real person that is really sorry wouldn't try to justify their actions. They wouldn't try to point the finger, I understand where I went wrong in the situation. I understand the things that I need to work on. I already understand the things that are still triggering or bothering me. And I also understand the growth that I've done from the past, maybe since 2020, even before that. And I acknowledge these things within myself. I don't have to tell that person what they did, because you know what you did. You know what you did. You were there. You did it. And I don't have to justify myself and how I'm feeling and the things that I'm going through and the work that I'm doing. Like, I don't have to prove any of that to you. And the only reason why I'm even telling this person or even other people in my life what they did is because you're not about to be out here spitting lies. You're not about to be out here telling people complete lies like, oh, I only did this because you did this. Like, no, like, that's not it. That's not what we're doing. You can't sit here and say, I only robbed the bank because my bills were due. Like, yes, okay, cool, but guess what? You're still going to jail. You're still gonna go to court. You're still gonna get prosecuted and convicted, and you're going to jail because you still chose to take the action to rob the bank. You still chose to take the action to plan out the heist. Like, you called your friends up, y'all made a whole map of the bank. You understand where the vault is. Y'all put y'all ski mask on. You put your ski mask on. And you still took your behind to the bank and still put people at gunpoint. Like, that doesn't, like, it doesn't work like that. There's still going to be people in the world that's not going to understand your story and understand your side or what's going on in your head. But this is why your actions always have to match your words. That's probably not the greatest example, because in this society right now, in terms of the economy and job hunting and all that stuff, girl, I might understand why somebody might rob a bank, okay? But it's just like, bro, like, in context to abuse and trauma and the things that we do onto other people, like, this is about self-control and emotional control. And that goes for me too, because there are times where you might slip up. There are times where you might end up still arguing with that ex. You might still end up arguing with that person you know doesn't care about you. You might still end up posting something that's like a subliminal online. Like, you might do certain things because at the end of the day, you're human. But if that doesn't justify you actually, like, going out of your way to abuse somebody, going out of your way to hurt someone, like, you expressing your emotions, and if that hurts that person's feelings, then okay, that makes sense. But if you go out of your way to physically harm them, you go out of your way to take something from them or do something, like, where in that is justified? There's no justification for that. And that goes for any person. It's just not cool. Especially if we get into dynamics of power. If you know that in a certain situation where you cannot do certain things because of whether y'all have a child together or whether this is your boss, whether you're a person who's like, whether you're the child living in your parents' house and you are 16, you have nowhere to go, like, now there's certain power dynamics to it, and which amplifies the abuse or amplifies the manipulation or the guilt tripping, gaslighting. I've been seeing these TikToks of this girl who's like, she's an adult. She's like 22 or so, but she's still living at home with her parents because, like I said, the economy. She won't let this girl sleep. She won't let this girl, like, basically be by herself or do things for herself because she guilt trip her into helping her with her business or helping her with something. And this is what I mean by the dynamics of power, because you know that with the situation in terms of her job, like, they're probably not paying enough for her to really go live out on her own by herself. On top of the fact that you're also her mother. So then there's a different relationship dynamic with that, because we already know how that goes. Especially if you tell a parent, like, yeah, you did this and this, and then they start crying and start being like, well, since I'm such a bad parent, and you're just like, bro, like, just admit that you was wrong and move forward. But we're not gonna get into that. That's gonna be another video. And then she's also living in your house, and you already know how that goes. My house, my rules. And to an extent, like, yes, I understand. But when you are using that to abuse someone, when you are using that to take advantage of someone or take advantage of the situation or manipulate them into doing things that they clearly do not want to do, like, that's not okay. Now, where she's not putting her hands on her, I hope, thank God, she's not physically harming her, she's emotionally and mentally harming her. And when you are calling people out of their names, when you are being disrespectful, not all abuse is shown physically. These are things that are not always acknowledged because people can't physically see the marks. They can't see it. But then they wait until this person basically goes crazy, and you see situations like with this like with these child stars and all these things, and then you wait until they're like an adult to be like, oh, we should have listened. Like, no, you should have listened the first time, and y'all did nothing because it was satisfying whatever vice that you had. You were also benefiting from it to an extent, right? Because if that person was jailed, maybe you would have lost your job, maybe you would have not been able to get hired in industry, whatever the case may be. It does hurt the most, or it sucks the most, when they just don't acknowledge it. And then that's when you, as the person that has been hurt or abused, it could be something that's like you find out your best friend was talking bad about you. It could be, it doesn't always have to be to the extreme. When you are acknowledging these things to that person and they don't acknowledge it for you, you have to swipe away not only their access, but you have to swipe away like their validation card. Like, their validation and their opinion doesn't matter anymore. They're not even like a real person. In my head, you're not even a real human being. You're a robot. Like, you have programmed your head to tell yourself continuous lies, to justify all of your actions, to justify all of the hurtful things that you have done to people. You have to continue lying to yourself in order to survive. And that's why I get it. You have to do it to live, to survive, because that's what people do. That's what our ego teaches us. You, as the person, when you are acknowledging that person that has hurt you, at some point, like, once you say all that you have to say, like, the conversation needs to be over. It needs to be dead. There's no reason for you to even continue being in that person's life, and vice versa. Unless it's like a situation where, like, it's a coworker and, like, in a way you still kind of have to talk to them. If you have to, this is where boundaries come into play, right? Because we don't have to be best of friends. I'm not going to tell you about my life outside of work. Like, you don't need to know who I'm dating, where I'm going, like what I'm doing, nothing. If it doesn't concern the work that we have to do here in this building, then we are not having a conversation. If you're really listening to what they're saying to you, you're really listening to what they're texting you, typing, whatever the case may be, you're really reading it, and you see the underline of the tone of all of it, and you understand that it's nothing but projection. A lot of times you'll notice that it is jealousy. It is jealousy, it is hate. Since they can't accept it, they rather just abuse it away. Like, I don't know how the best way to say that. And you have to just be the one. It's not even just being the bigger person, but essentially, yeah, you have to be the bigger person in the sense of, like, you just have to know and validate yourself and know, like, yeah, you know what you did. Like, you know what you did. You know you were wrong. You know you were fully wrong. There's nothing in this situation that can justify your wrongs, especially in the dynamic power. Sometimes it doesn't always have to be parent and child. Like, this could also be like when you are withholding information, there's a certain power dynamic to that. If you're not giving somebody the full story, you're not giving somebody all the information for them to make informed decisions, that is a dynamic of power in itself. When you see them for the little boy, the little girl, the little kid that they still are, then you are like, yo, like, this is definitely, like, I'm above this. Not even this above me. I'm above this because you said everything that you had to say. You're doing the work. You're doing everything that you have to do. You're trying to move on. And there are days where you're still upset. There are days where you still relive these traumas or relive these pains. There are days where you still feel the feelings that you had in those situations. And that's okay. But are you going out of your way to abuse this person or to abuse somebody or hurt somebody because you're feeling this way? No. You get to hold on to that. You get to validate yourself with that, because once you realize that they have to go to sleep at night knowing that they did this every single day, as they try to play it off, as they try to drink it away, they try to, meet other people and pretend they have this new life. Like, at the end of the day, everything always comes out. Like, have we not seen all the stories that we've seen? And we've been seeing all these celebrities being exposed. You've been seeing all these celebrities, like, all these things are coming out about these celebrities. And Yes, whereas people, us as humans, we love the drama, we love the mess, and I get it. But we have to take these situations as examples, and we have to figure out what we can learn from these situations so that we can do better. In order to solve the issue or solve the problem, you first have to acknowledge it. You first have to know that it is a problem. Unfortunately, with that person that hurt you, with that person that did that thing to you, that may have cheated on you, lied on you, whatever the case may be, they're not always going to acknowledge that. As long as you acknowledge that, yes, this is what they did to me. Yes, I might have done this, and this in this situation. Once you acknowledge it, now you can move forward. And that's pretty much all that I'm going to do now, is I am moving forward. I said everything I had to say. Nobody could ever say that I didn't say anything. Like, nobody could ever say that I didn't express myself or tell them how I was feeling, what it was doing, because I was that person to keep it inside for the sake of peace or not starting something, especially within the family dynamic. We already talked about that. But now it's at the point where, like, no, like, you come to me and you tell me like straight lies, and you going out here telling lies, or you're really acting like this didn't happen. I'm going to tell you about yourself. I'm going to tell the truth, because that's what it is. Especially when everything in your life or everything surrounding the situation corroborates with it. When you really look into their lives, you are not the only person they did this to. It's not like you're like this special person and they only abused you. Like, you'll look back into their lives and you'll see a pattern. There's always a pattern. They always try the same tactics. They always do the same things. A lot of times it's just empty threats. A lot of times it's fake anger or it's fake aggression. And it's just like, bro, like, at some point, it's like, you got it. That's me cleaning my hands. You got it. You won. Go on and think, like, go on and tell this story to yourself that you didn't do this, or you did this because I looked at you a certain way. Like, come on, like, let's stop playing this game. It's just unfortunate for them, because especially when you were the person in their life that was a light in their life, or you were the person to show them the opposite of what they've either been through or gone through, whatever. Especially when you were the person that genuinely cared for them or genuinely wanted the relationship, the friendship, whatever, to be better, to do better. We already know, like, these people, there's just some people that just can't go with you. I'm just so sick and tired of not only being quiet and trying to, like, remain peaceful for the sake of being a good mom, being a good daughter, being a good friend, being a good coworker. I personally don't care anymore. Of course, I'm still gonna go out of my way to heal myself, to continue to have peace in my life. But if you're coming to me and you're trying to step to me and either trigger me, harass me, poke, whatever the case may be, you will get the bear. Like, you will get the fire. There's nothing else I could tell you. I personally don't want any smoke from anybody. I personally do not like to argue. I do not like to fight, but I will defend myself. I definitely want to do like a part 2 to this, to continue having like certain conversations around this, especially digging a little deeper into, like, when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships, friendships, because I experienced it all. Learning from the mistakes that I've made in the past and getting over the past. And it's like, yo, like, you think I personally want to hold on to the shit that you did to me? You think I want to hold on to the things that hurt me? I'm trying to move on, but you still have yet to acknowledge the thing that you did. On top of the fact that if that person is still harassing you, like, and a lot of times when these people are still harassing you, it's because they can't figure it out within themselves. So they trying to get you to get over it so they can feel better about themselves. Like, that's not how this works. I saw a video of this guy saying that it takes 2 years of consistent change behavior in order for that person to trust you again. That's my video. That's my TED Talk. I'm getting this off my chest. I don't have time to pacify people anymore, especially from the people that have abused me, especially from the people that have done me dirty. Like, your opinions, your thought process, how you feel about the situation, I do not care. Once you put your hands on somebody, all of that goes out the window. Like, none of that matters anymore. The people that know, that care for you, that love you, they know, they believe you, they hold you to a high regard, and they're there for you, period. That's my video, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, comment your experience. If you personally want to put down in the comments like how you're feeling, and if you are in a similar space or situation, let me know down below. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Even if you don't share, just thank you for even being in this space with me and understanding me. And because I hear you, I see you, and I understand you. So I hope you have a great day, and peace out.